Well, hello there, everybody. I'm joined again by Shay,
Hey guys.
and we're here to talk about spoilers in Kingdom Hearts 3, which we got here a lot faster than I thought we would. So, this is a spoiler cast. Everything will be spoiled. You will not be
You've been
saved.
warned.
You've been warned. But that's it. That's your last warning. So I have a list here of basically, we're going to talk about literally the ending of the game and then unresolved plot holes or just unresolved mysteries in the game. We'll start with Sora saying, I'm going to get Kairi back because Kairi got punked by like a bee by Xehanort and just turned into just Heart. Turned into a normal woman in crisis, of course, after even being trained. Like, nope, you're just going to be turned into an object of save.
Keyblades, right?
Yeah, so she turned into a Keyblade, which I don't know how that works.
Who knows?
But Sora's like, I know where to go. Something, something, heart. Something, something, light. And unlocks...
Aqua talked about it when she showed him how to get to Ventus. Maybe Sora's got that photographic memory, and he now knows how to travel worlds through hearts.
Oh, he is Goku. He can.
Yes, he is.
He can instant transmission, and he's literally the only the only character that can solve a crisis. Everyone else is weak, and everyone's just a punk. We'll get back to that. So he opens up the sky. He says, "I know what I'm gonna do." Flash cut to Disney Castle with everyone getting back together. This is the ending. Everyone's like, music's playing, like, oh, everyone's getting back together and blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. Here's Naminé. She's being reawoken, which we can assume how Naminé gets reawoken because they get the Riku replica from the past. His heart has been taken out of it, so now it's just a puppet. And then, because we know that Kairi was saved in just a couple scenes after this, and we find out that Sora is not alive because she's imagining things and he turns into a visible goo. And she starts crying. So presumably, just like in Kingdom Hearts 1, he sacrificed his heart and saved Kairi when he unlocked his heart to release hers. That also released Naminé's, or maybe when she was turned into a Keyblade, that released Naminé's heart as well. Either way, they're both alive, and Sora is nowhere to be found. So,
right.
Anything you want to say up to that point so far?
Yeah, because all three of them are connected. And Sora apparently is connected to everybody he comes in contact with, which...
Oh, and Xion. Xion is also part of him, too.
Right. So as long as Kairi's alive or Sora's alive, then there's always a chance Naminé can come back, no matter what.
Right. Well, I mean, no one is ever dead forever because time travel. Even if Sora dies, they could just go back in time and save him as a child and then bring him into the present. Oh my god, I just figured out a new spin-off so that they can have young Sora again. They brought up the digital double while he was still young, and they brought him back. I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh wait, why would they pick Xion over Sora when they could have had a digital double of Sora?
Yeah, I don't know. Xion is Sora. Is the closest thing. I don't know. Whatever, doesn't matter. We'll get to that. And then there's the epilogue. So we see a hooded figure in the Keyblade graveyard with a black box, and a portal opens and 4 beings come out of it, and they are the main characters from the Keyblade Wars movie that was in 2.8, the back cover, I think it was called. Yep. And all these guys are the houses of the Union Cross game. So every single game is canon. So they're just like mad, like, why did you bring us back? And then he takes off his hood and it reveals that it's Xigbar. And then it also reveals that the character named Lucio in that back cover was Xigbar the whole time, meaning that Xigbar has been alive for a very long time, making me think that we joked about how he's like the Loki of this world. He seems to like know things. And my thought is, I don't know if he wanted to create the Keyblade or if this is all some ruse to get the black box or what. He had a plan, and he probably whispered in Xehanort's ear to make him think about Kingdom Hearts and the Keyblade that got this thing rolling. And then he disguised himself as Bragg in Birth by Sleep, and then it was like, oh no, I got turned to a nobody, and now I'm Xigbar, which he's always been Lushu the whole time. He's never unsouled himself, unhearted himself. He just makes people think that for some reason. And I guess it's to find this black box, which we don't know what it is. We don't know why in Kingdom Hearts 3 all of a sudden the black box is important. Somehow Maleficent and Pete know about it, and they look for it the entire time, and it's just pointless because they literally have no impact on the story besides to look for this box, which we see their shadows at the very end too. So yeah.
Speaking of that scene at the crossroads, so I was looking into this a little bit. So Lushu's the one that starts the whole union thing and cross union, right? Well, he has the 5 apprentices, the one apprentice that isn't part of the unions. She's supposed to find the strongest Keyblade wielders of the ones that join the union, and she's supposed to take them and train them in secret, because her secret mission is to create this this group called the Dandelions. So when darkness ultimately destroys light, so these Dandelion seeds, and of the ones that she originally recruits, Ventus was one of her trainees. So I don't know.
That's why the cat thing.
I'm butchering this name, but it's like
Chrysanthemum.
I wanted to say chrysanthemum.
You just taught me something. I was so confused when she ran to him because she was just like to Sora in the final world. Was like, I'm just waiting for my master. And at the very end, she runs to Ventus. I'm like,
yeah.
They never interacted. I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, but there's so much of that mobile game, and it's a mobile game, so it's so hard for me to care.
Well, the other thing specifically special about Ventus is Ventus inherited the Book of Prophecy from Ava.
I don't even know what a Book of Prophecy is. Besides, they talk about
other than it being in back cover, like the only thing they talked about. This is where I get confused about the timeline, because if Birth by Sleep...
I think Nomura and everybody else is confused about the timeline.
Does Birth by Sleep happen before or after Union Cross?
The Keyblade Wars happen in freaking like 100 years ago or something.
Right.
And Birth by Sleep was just 10 years before Kingdom Hearts 1.
Right.
It might be even older than 100 years, or it might be it's at least 100 years. I'm pretty sure. So let's put that aside, and that's a headache for another time.
Okay.
So this is the epilogue. We're done with that. He somehow found the black box. Whatever. I don't know what his plans are. Is that where the Secret Prophecy book is? I don't know. Is that another Keyblade? Is that Kingdom Hearts? What is Kingdom Hearts? I don't know.
Man,
Don't know.
What if the box is a Keyblade?
You know what? I just think that Nomura and his team watched 7 one too many times. They're just like, oh, we want people to meme this screenshot of this black box and be like, what's in the box? It's someone's head. It's Ventus's head from another time. It's Sora's head. He's been decapitated, and his head. Man. I don't know. Okay, let's move on though. Okay,
right.
If you collect all 90 Mickey emblems, you unlock the secret ending. Sora is presumably existing. Dead. I don't want to say alive, but he's existing somewhere. He wakes up in a puddle in a modern city, and we see the 104 building in the background, which makes me think that maybe it's taking place in the World Ends With You universe, because that takes place in Shibuya. The 104 building is a big thing for that world, which is based off of a real building in the real Japan district of Shibuya, which is the 109 building. Because it's not called 109 and it is 104, that's a direct reference to The World Ends With You, for sure. And then somewhere else in the city, we see Riku. And then we see the character from Vex Romana. God, I keep on screwing up the name. What the hell is this? Then VM Rex. We see the main character of VM Rex on a building. And I'm like, oh, are they just in that game? And then they show a hooded figure making a heart symbol into the moon, which we both maybe think that it might be Lushu. My theory of the secret ending is, I think it's like a dream drop distanced kind of thing where Sora is either dead, like in The World Ends With You, you die and you go to this world and you play the Reaper game, and Riku has to go in to save him. Or it could be like a dream drop distance situation where Sora is asleep after reawakening Kairi, and someone with the power of waking has to wake him up, which Don't even ask me what the power of waking is. And so it's going to be a parallel game, just like in Dream Drop Distance, where Riku's going to try and find Sora. They're in the same place, but in parallel universes, and probably, hopefully, crossing my fingers that Neku and all the characters from the World Ends With You will be in it. I have no idea how Virum Rex is in there, which, if you didn't know, in Latin, that basically translates to True King. I don't know. This could all be like red herring all over the place, and this has nothing to do with the sequel. I guess they feel like they threw it in there to make you think that at least Sora is alive, and to have people guessing and make podcasts like this.
And I know after I finished watching it, I texted you and I was like, WTF, what the hell did I just watch?
All I want, if it's DLC, cool. If it's part of the next game, cool. This better not be a mobile game. That's all I want, which I don't think it will be because they already have Union Cross. To make two Kingdom Hearts mobile games would be weird. Although there is 15,000 Final Fantasy spin-off mobile games, so who knows? I expect at the end of the year we'll at least know something else about Kingdom Hearts. I wish I could take things out of my brain and experience something pure for the first time or new. Be someone that goes into Kingdom Hearts 3 for the first one and just get their perspective, like, what do you think about this is happening? This is lunacy, right? It's such a weird thing because we have our problems with Kingdom Hearts, but we still, if I could speak for you, really love Kingdom Hearts 3. It's just that you have to take it with a grain of salt because the story has always been nonsense, but a fun nonsense, but also kind of an aggravating nonsense. It's hard to describe to people. But the point is, it's a weird relationship that all fans have with Kingdom Hearts. And even if this game gets reviewed bad by people that really aren't into the thing and people that jump in like, oh, I really wanted to like Kingdom Hearts because whatever, this is the last one, or this is a culminating thing that has taken a long time, and I just don't get it. And that's okay.
There really isn't a good way to describe. If you're a fan of the series, I mean, you're a fan. You've got the things that you really love about it, and you have the gameplay parts that you really love, or you really love the characters.
And let's just be clear, there's a lot of sad things. I was so upset that after all this time that they just left things hanging. They wrapped most things up with leaving some things open as we're talking about this. The one upsetting thing was Sora, but to know that he's at least in existence at some point, it was like a little okay with. But I was still like a little bit like, come on, you could have just wrapped everything up and then maybe had one tease instead of having like 20 teases. But at the very least, I was happy that everybody got to have kind of a redeeming moment or a turn of character, like with Vexen, who is Evan, right?
Evan.
It's so hard to think of all these dumb normal names when the nobody names are a lot cooler. Just all these like little moments. When Isa is there with Lee, who finally freaking put on his clothes, and Shion's there, and all having ice cream, it just warmed my heart so much. Or when Roxas and Shion are back together, and they all have a hug, and it's like, it's just like, because you grew up with these characters, you just, even though nonsense is happening all around you, you still feel for these people, even though the words and the circumstances are just bizarre as heck, and explaining to somebody would make them blow their brains out because, like, I don't know what you're talking about. You sound crazy. This game sounds incomprehensible and stupid. Why would I ever play this? Even if you like the gameplay or whatever, it's just like it's a weird dichotomy, essentially.
It's a very weird story to just jump into, and I feel bad for the Xbox players because if they are complete novices coming into 3, you're gonna get a lot of lore dump.
I guess we're getting off a little track here, defending Kingdom Hearts, when if you're listening to a spoiler cast, you don't need Kingdom Hearts to be defended.
There's a new form of chess coming out, and it's going to be tougher.
Okay, as long as you brought that up, let's get into that. At the very end of the epilogue, which I forgot about, they show Xehanort and Arrakis are playing the game of chess. Xehanort loses, and then they're looking out the window, and then he's like, I heard about this new game. And he sets the pieces up, and Xehanort's like, okay, 7 dark pieces and 1 piece of light, presumably. I can't remember the exact line, but it's basically 7 against 1. And then that's when we see the secret ending Thank you for bringing that up, because that could be because The World Ends With You is all about a game inside a paranormal heaven, hell, limbo type scenario
Right.
with one person versus whatever. I can't remember how many Reapers there are. I think that, oh my God, I can't remember how many days they have to
Oh, it's
pass.
7 days.
Is it 7 days?
Yeah, they have 1
God,
week.
if this has nothing to do with The World Ends With You, I'm a huge fan of that game. I've been waiting for a sequel forever. But the point is, if they tease all this stuff and my theory is not correct and there's no The World Ends With You tie-in at all, I'm going to be so angry that they red herringed me. There's so many ties. There's so many ties. There's so many hints. Of course.
Nomura be trolling.
Also, is this whole thing a dream that nothing has ever happened in Xehanort, and it's in that timeline where it's just that present day and they've just been playing chess the whole time? And because they kept on cutting back to that, it's like, oh, don't forget about the light from the past or whatever. And
What I think about Xehanort is that he doesn't time travel in a way that you think is logical. What he does is he places like memos in people's hearts. He just travels between memo points, but it gets too confusing when he pulls them all together to make Organization 13.
But the thing is, they don't explain it. They just say time
No.
travel and shrug their shoulders like, I can time travel now.
When you defeat young Xehanort, he's like, oh, I guess I'm just going to go back to my time. Too bad you didn't do anything important. What do you mean?
That's right, he did say that. So what are the consequences of dying or coming back with the nobodies? Like, oh, you defeated me. Let's play a card game. Okay, yeah, that sounds fun. Oh, I'm dead now. I'm now
Honestly,
maybe somebody.
Young Xehanort worries me the most because now he has all this knowledge of the future. At one point, Xehanort was a descendant of light before he fell to darkness. Before
Yes.
he saw the Book of Prophecy.
I assume Lushu is the one that, was the one that turned him basically and corrupted his mind.
I was
Because at
saying-
the end, I like that he turned at the very end. I mean, okay, let's talk about two things. First of all, Ericus. So they get to Destiny Island to go into the realm of darkness because they find Ericus's Keyblade on the shore, which was cool because that's a scene directly from the first teaser of Kingdom Hearts 3. Way back in 2015, I think it was that teaser trailer, or 2013. One of those two. And I was like, oh, wow, I didn't even think about it before in that trailer that was Ericus's Keyblade the whole time. I didn't even think about, like, what that could possibly mean because it was kind of a quick shot or whatever, but it's just in the Destiny Islands for some reason. It's just there, and Sora uses to go to the realm of darkness. I'm getting a headache. I need some aspirin.
Destiny and stuff.
I mean, that's also on the head too, Destiny Islands. Which, real quick, let's talk about how Sora has parents and then they're never brought up again.
I wonder if he ever had parents to begin with. Are
I
we
think-
sure that lady was his mom?
I mean, he says Sora come down for dinner, so he has a guardian. There's that cut scene in the
What if-
first Kingdom Hearts with Kairi and her grandma. So, I mean, not everybody has to have parents, but they have to have someone to stay. I mean, we can
What if it's his
see
aunt?
that the mainland has been restored at least in 2 because Kairi and Selphie are going to school. So
And they
there's
look-
some kind of life there, and it's just they don't talk about it. I mean, you don't have to talk about the parents, but with all this heart and stuff, you think that Sora would
Wonder?
I don't know, maybe he has an abusive relationship and he just wants to get out of there like
Well,
most.
maybe. All right. So in 3, you remember how when they go back to Twilight Town and Sora's like, "Man, it's been so long since we've been here," and Donald and Goofy kind of like stop and they're like, "It hasn't been that long." So I was thinking about that, and because maybe this has deeper ramifications for what happened with Naminé. Maybe they couldn't get back all of Sora's memories. They could only get back his memories once he had the Keyblade.
That's convenient. We're doing a terrible job, I'm sure, of piecing these things together. And I'm sure
Oh, I'm sure
someone knows, like, oh, well, actually, you
more
dummies.
hardcore
this
fans are gonna.
unresolved mysteries, more like unresolved. How do these two have a? Tell us
Looking at it.
what we're getting wrong if you know
Please.
something, because my God, there's
'Cause
so much to
Kingdom Hearts
unpack.
It's so much to unpack.
I wrote a list of things to go in order and off, and it's just things keep on getting brought up. It's like, oh right, we should talk about this because this is related to this, and there's just so many ties and stuff, and it's just
Right.
it's so convoluted, but I
So-
love it still.
So, about Sora's parents, one final point. What if revealing who they are is something that's going to be brought up later on and it's going to have real serious ramifications?
That's what I was kind of thought too, because that leaves stuff open for more. But I mean, that's my point with the ending of 3. They could have had a nice ending with
nicer
everybody. We tie up Sora's back together. He finally gets to be with Kairi. It's been so long, and still they don't get to be together. They had that one moment where they ate the papu fruit, and then they ate some more. They ate some more papu fruits, if you know what I mean. And oh my god, what if Kingdom Hearts 4 she's pregnant? It's like, oh my god, he ate that fruit. He ate that papu fruit, and then he gives birth to who do you think that Sora's kid is?
It's either going to be Shion or it's going to be Naminé. That's their kid. I'm pretty sure. I mean, there's a lot of metaphysical stuff that happens in this, and the one thing that's tied together is that if your hearts are connected through that metaphysical means, it doesn't matter between time and space or non-existence to existence. You can find that person. Because bonds.
Even Xehanort says, when they're like, how can he do all this stuff? He's like, well, you know, as good as anyone, that there are ties to the hearts and whatever. So yeah, I kind of get that. But basically what I was getting to for the ending that I wanted would be to wrap everything up. Sora gets home, opens the door, and the mom or dad is just like, Sora, you have a good time? Where were you? Or more like, Sora, where the bleep were you? Your father died from heart exhaustion because you were dead or gone. I don't know. Why is there a talking duck behind you?
Turns out Sora's parents have been putting those sleep pods from Chain of Memories.
Oh, that's why they haven't questioned anybody. Anyway, there's 4 people in Organization 13 that we don't know the identities of. That'd be Demyx, Luxord, Marluxia, and Larxene. By identities, I mean we don't know what their real names are or who they were before this.
Right, because even though Sora fixed them, they still decided to be organization members.
What if it's one of Sora's parents? Oh. I want Demyx and Larxene to be his parents. Oh my god. What if Marluxia turns out to be a girl and his nobody was a boy?
Sounds like you just woke Tristan.
I just woke the audience. But speaking of Luxord, do you remember when Sora defeats him? He's like, take this card, the trump card, use it. And then that's it. We don't see the card again. Is that maybe how he saves Kairi? Or is that just a plot point that just came up literally like an hour ago and then they're just like, what card?
I got onto a really weird forum
where no.
They were talking about how Luxord might actually be Ansem the Wise's son.
Let's see, what else do I have in here? I totally forgot about replicas being a thing until this game.
Oh,
because
replicas.
Yeah, what is a replica? When Riku is taken out of his replica, it's just like it looks like a puppet. Right. And the thing that I want to know about, because I'm a gross person, is there anatomy, or is their soul just in a puppet body?
Right, to answer that first, I feel like there's anatomy.
I went to another forum, and boy, did I see some stuff. Papu fruits going into Papu fruits.
No, I thought that Luxord thing was kind of interesting, and I read it for a little bit, and they made some very solid arguments, and it was pretty recent. But anyway, I think the thing about replicas is they only assign themselves a gender role depending on the heart that's put into the replica.
So they created vagina or penis from whatever they choose? My heart's penis is huge. My real penis is very small.
Well, you know, like your soul always has a certain shape, or your image in your head.
Yeah, just go on, keep explain yourself out of this paper bag.
Oh, I don't know, man. Just Vexen.
But how do they work? What are they made out of?
They're made out of gummy ship material.
I guess, yeah, that's literally the only thing they have. This is my gummy phone. This is my gummy ship. I don't know if we should take gummies into whatever. I thought I had a good knowledge when I went into Kingdom Hearts 3, and then some things happened. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. What? Yeah, replicas.
Like during the replica Riku fight, and then Golden Child Riku comes out of older Riku and then abducts Dark Riku. So they have the empty vessel.
All right. I know, you can't keep a straight face. That's all stuff that happened. That part where Kairi and Sora are about to papu each other, they're looking at Riku, and he's on the beach
Talking
doing
to
nothing.
nobody.
Like, what's he doing? I think he just wants to be alone. He's just talking to his head, which is the darkness inside of him.
Right.
Which is also the replica part of him. Which doesn't make any sense at all, because the darkness is...
so when he destroyed his original replica, he absorbed the replica's data, and that's the extra Riku inside his heart? So then the one that you fight in 3 is the copy that the organization has?
They're just ripping up Persona. When's Persona going to get in here? Is Persona... Is Joker going to appear in the World Ends With You too? And then people come out of people's bodies are like... Whoa! They have replicas inside of them too.
They
and then Sora's gonna be like,
do have Persona already in there because of Ansem's guardian.
Yeah, it's really funny that scene where he's just like talking to himself, and I just thought it was a thing inside of him. And then the cutscene happened where you defeat the replica Riku and in the maze, and then like you said, he comes out of him and he takes him away into nothingness, and it's just like, okay, so he left his body, which is not real. And then he took a thing out of the other thing, and then they both just disappeared.
Right?
Is there gonna be a scene where there's gonna be 4 Rikus talking to each other? Is there gonna be an organization
Riku organization?
Reek 13?
Reek 13.
God, we're getting off track here. We've been going so long. We still have a couple more things that I want to talk about. Lee and Issa talk about a girl that they did not rescue as boys before they were turned into nobodies.
Right.
Which brings me to another thing that I actually thought about. They age somehow. They get taken away and they age, or maybe they don't get turned into nobodies at that point. I don't know.
Right.
At some point, 10 years later, they grow up, or they become boy nobodies and they grow up. Point is, when they're nobodies, there's some aging that happens in that 10-year process. Makes sense.
Right.
Unless you are Aqua, Terra, or Ventus, you do not age. Which, Terra and Aqua, I'm not sure how old they're supposed to be. So,
I feel like
10 years...
Ventus should get a little bit forgiven because he was put into a separate dimension, I feel.
Yeah, but Sora was in a sleep chamber and he aged...
That is true.
I'm saying all these 3 people you could explain away like, oh, well, his heart wasn't there, so he didn't age. But the thing you could point to is Sora aged in the time pod, and then Lee and Issa aged as well. Not a little bit. Right. They full growned.
They 10 years of
they full growned. So why they no age? But I'm surprised there was not a moment where you control Axel, because he makes a good point of I'm not gonna die. I'm a fan favorite. He basically cuts the fourth wall many times in this game.
He's Deadpool.
Talking about like how this stuff does not make nonsense. He's Deadpool. And it's like, I'm not gonna whatever, and then he just doesn't have his scene. Like there's no I don't know.
I wanted all of them to have a cool fight moment.
Even if we couldn't play them.
Oh, even if we couldn't play them, I wanted them all to have their cool kick-ass moment. And Nomura just took it all away from us.
Oh, don't worry. There will be another 13, 15 years, whatever, of spin-offs before we get Kingdom Hearts 4. Things will be answered, kind of.
I hope it's Kingdom Hearts 5, to be honest. I hope the 15 years will be 5, not 4.
That would be such a bold move, where they make the sequel first, and then they're like, well, now everyone's lost because no one knows what happened in 4, because 4 was not made. And there's like, huh? Now you want me to make prequels, don't you?
Now you want me to.
There are so many troll moments in this game, like all those tweets that happen in the load times,
like
and the 2.9. Oh. You may think we're crazy, but that's what this does to you. It's like sniffing mercury.
It's like, oh man, yeah. Try to follow the timeline. Like, go and look it up. That's how I found out about the whole Ventus thing in Cross Union.
All right. At the end of the day, confusing story aside, we both love this game and cannot wait for more. if you lasted this long listening through our tyrants, then congratulations.
Congratulations. You get a secret ending.
Yes. After we're done talking in a couple seconds here, you will have the real true revelation.
The real revelations.
Sora is Xehanort. Oh, secret ending spoiled. Yep, time travel. He becomes his own enemy.
Yeah.
My kidney's failing me. I need to get out of here. Thank you for joining us, Shay. Thank you for
Thanks for having
joining me.
Thanks to whoever was listening to this whole thing. Thank you so much. You make our job worth it.
That would be future me who has to edit this.
Good job.
Yeah, see, I know time travel too.
Oh.
If you like this video and want to see more from me, then subscribe to my channel. And also check out my articles over at The Gamer. All these links and more are in the description notes below. Thanks for watching!